Well, hello there. Welcome to my shop. This is Tony Turns Wood, and I'm Tony. Today I'm going to be working on a little maple bottle topper. These are all offcuts, small things, and I was really feeling like just sitting down and practicing the skew, practicing the spindle gouge, and seeing if I could make something saleable afterwards. Did a little speed up here and there, but you can see I'm just taking the skew to round it down, taking patient cuts. That's typical anchor, bevel, and then cut, the ABCs of using a skew. You don't see any catches in there, and it really reduces the amount of sanding you have to do later on. My main process here is just to get the blank fully round before I start using peeling cuts. So I'll just kind of come across with a standard skew cut, keep inspecting the wood, trying to maintain as much of that figure as I can. Got it, mess those corners off, so we can use a peel cut here. And then we just kind of pull it back, see if I'm going to be turning the figure away, which is my biggest fear with these little offcuts from the outside edges of burls and branches. But this turned out to have a really nice piece of ripple up near the top up there, you'll see. It made it worth its time. It also had a very interesting yellow spalting in it that I hadn't seen in this type of maple very often. Usually I'll see that in Japanese maple up here in the Pacific Northwest, but never in a standard of big leaf maple. So it's kind of an interesting little twist for me. I whipped out the spindle gouge here to just start rounding down the corners, and went back to the crown half-inch gouge here. And all I'm trying to do is kind of establish a base, get a basic shape, match up to the bottle stopper chuck there at the bottom. I like to kind of get that first smallest diameter, my minor diameter, and then kind of build the rest of the design around it. But I'm just kind of taking my time, enjoying some time in the shop. I have to stop quite a few times just to take a look at, I'm getting good cuts, is there any tear out? Figured wood's always a challenge. So I'm just going to roll a teeny little bead here on the bottom, just kind of establish just a decorative base for it. The rest of the design at this point, I still haven't really made my mind up, but I was thinking it's just a typical barrel. So just don't want to turn that figure away. That's been my whole challenge here, is not make it too small, lose that figure. Keep adjusting my tool rest. I think I pulled out a larger bowl gouge here just to round that top up before going back to the skew to get my final cut along here. Just reduce some of that sanding time. I can even see as it's spinning here, which I couldn't see while I was there, some of those tool lines. So it's kind of fun to go back and review on your projects. Here I just got a little point tool, hitting the two major diameters on the outside, equally spaced apart. And we'll go and burn some lines in that after we get the first round of sanding on. I start out with 80 grit Abernet here. Just kind of a little more shaping, honestly, than a pure sanding, but just to take care of any torn grain. Make sure I like what I'm seeing, that everything's nice and flat. And there was a little bit of tear out along the kind of the heart of the blank there, you can see. And now I'll go with the grain just to get rid of all of the radial scratches that go from when you're spinning it. And I was pretty happy with how that turned out at that point. So just take a little piece of piano wire, and we'll put two little friction burns in here for aesthetics. I like the way that that looks, and especially in the maple, the contrast is so nice. And then you move straight over to the different grits. I'll go from 120 up to 400 on this. And my 400, I don't use Abernet very often. I just use a standard sandpaper on the 400. The Abernet, for me, seems to just not last that long on the higher, finer grits, and I found that the expense just wasn't worth the effort there. You'll see me do this frequently. I'll stop between rotating it on the lathe and sanding, then going across the grain, so I can just kind of put a crosshatch of each of the finer and finer and finer grits, and I end up getting a much nicer shine. And it really brings out the buoyancy in the rippled and figured parts there.
Shape. A little bigger than I wanted. This is from that scrap that I didn't want to throw away, that I said, oh, that's a pretty figure.
Yeah.
I had to turn some of the figure away. I had to turn some of the figure away, but it still has that ripple.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ripple up here, and there's the yellow staining in it from the spalting.
Yeah. Really nice.
Yeah, it should be pretty nice.
A little visit from my wife into the shop there to see what I was working on, and she was setting up behind me to do her art. And it's kind of one of the nice things about having two artists in the family. We can share a workspace and work on projects together, get her input. At this stage, I'm generally just trying to take my time, making sure that I'm getting rid of all the tool lines, working through the grits as we go up. I think we're right at 320 right now. And, just keep working it around until I don't feel anything or see anything. It's probably for some people it's one of the tedious processes of making things like this, but for me it's really really enjoyable. Just patience, and you just sit there and watch the wood take shape. You can see the reflection change in the light, overhead lights, which is lets you know you're getting closer to what you're shooting for. Just keep on with the sanding, like we said, moving up through the grits one at a time until we get to smoothness and the sheen that we're looking for. I've tried to speed up as much of this as I can so that it's not too tedious. Here I'm working that 400 grit now. But what I was thinking of doing is just taking this completely unedited and just running the whole 28 minutes from start to finish. It's just kind of a relaxing thing without the speed ups and everything. And I really don't know how much voiceover is required for making a bottle topper. But there I went ahead and applied our shop grit, which is just an 80 pumice, mineral oil and beeswax. And then a buddy of mine, a lot of you guys know Gonzo, he sent me over some really cool wood wax and that he makes himself. And I thought I would try that instead of our standard shop shine. So there's a little tin of it here from Gonz. It's Gonzalo de la Cruz. You also might know him as Mr. Lathes and Knives. Super great turner, super neat guy. Also a very accomplished tattoo artist of all things. But I really like the way his shine works, and I've been using it on quite a few of my smaller turn pieces right now. You can see how that figure just came out beautifully.
I use Gonz's paste.
Oh, nice.
Turner Gonz. Looks good.
After getting all of the paste on and polished off and to a sheen that I was happy with, I went ahead and got out a spanner here, or a little wrench, and pried it off the chuck here. And then all that's left at that point is clean out the grooves with a shop towel and assemble it with a Penn State stainless bottle bottom, or the little bottle stopper part of it. And since everything's threaded, it goes together nice and easy. You can see here what we basically got in the end. Nothing overly elaborate or anything like that, but it's a really good exercise in using your skew and using your spindle gouge and getting just finding shape and balance. And the whole project start to finish is less than half an hour, including cleaning and sanding and all the stuff in between. So you almost always have time to get out in the shop and at least turn a little something like that. So hopefully you enjoyed kind of just watching the process. There will be another video up that's unedited, without any commentary or voiceover or music or anything like that. Just a full 28 minutes, I think 37 seconds of start to finish of the project. But there she is, a little figure of maple bottle topper. So hope you had a good time, and now get out there and turn something.